What's up, home skillets? I'll tell you what, that was a great show this morning. A lot of information, a lot of conversation about Emmanuel. And now here we are again. I'm getting in the habit of 2-3 shows a day. Goodness, you must be bored. You must be like, what on earth is she doing now? Well, Giovanni died at 18 years old. Let's first tell everyone hello and remind everyone that it is Wednesday. Oh, Joanne said, I love the two shows. I love the two shows. Well, I love chatting with you, Joanne. I do. I'm going to say something during this show that might upset a few people. I'm probably in the minority here because I'm seeing something totally different. I can hear what the police are explaining. So let's start from the beginning and we'll get to the latest information.
That body, but it was found in the same area where he went missing. And tonight it is raising even more questions about the circumstances and specifically the people who he was with when he disappeared. While there are still unanswered questions about what happened to Giovanni Pelletier after getting into the car with his cousins in Florida, retired FBI Special Agent Frank Brostrom says knowing where he was supposed to be going gives investigators an easy place to start.
Normally in these investigations, somebody disappears. You have no lead. You don't know who was with them last. You don't know where they were last. And you're kind of starting from scratch.
Since the cousins Gio was with already spoke with investigators, any evidence they find will give them a chance to compare that with what they claim happened.
They're going to do phone work on everybody involved. They're going to interview witnesses. They're just going to lay out and do the whole Monty, lay out the whole Monty on this. And they've got some great leads.
Yesterday, ABC 11 speaking with Gio's stepdad, Jeremy.
They have great leads. For one, they have Giovanni's body. They have his body. They believe that he had something with him previously, which possibly was laced. We're waiting on toxicology. He freaked out and he took off running and wound up in a retention pond. Hey, Kaz. Hey, V. Oakley. True Crime Beat. Baby kisses. Something stinks. Big time. Where did he get the drugs? Where'd he get them? Where'd he get them? Because no one else in the car had the same reaction as him. And they picked him up at 1:30 in the morning when they were supposed to be there at 6-7 o'clock. Was their intention to get him effed up? The toxicology will tell everything. As far as the police saying things like, oh no, the cousins are cooperating. Hell yeah. Please keep that up. Because if you come out and you say, we think they did something, they'll lawyer up and never talk to you again. So if they're all doing the same thing, why did one freak out, claim to be the devil and all that stuff, and take off running, saying, I'm going to grab this car, I'm going to do this? I watched the video, and he was hectic. Where did it come from? And that's what they're going to have to figure out.
And do the whole Monty, lay out the whole Monty on this. And they've got some great leads.
I'm going to lay up the whole Monty. Okay, go ahead.
Yesterday, ABC 11 speaking with Gio's stepdad, Jeremy Brown, who says while they were a little skeptical of Gio going with the cousins he hadn't met, Gio was excited to spend time with them.
We have our reservations, but we trust you. We trust that you're going to look out for yourself. We trust you're going to be safe.
That is until that ominous text 20 minutes after he left, asking for help. Gio's stepdad shocked he was told Gio was left somewhere.
What kind of family are you when you're going to leave your cousin on the side of the road?
Great question. What kind of family are you if you're going to leave your cousin on the side of the road? If somebody was freaking out in my car, panic attack, whatever, and they say, I need to get out, and they're trying to open the door, no victim blaming here. I personally, however, I'm much older, would call an ambulance. That's what I would do. If you're that far out of your mind, then we need an ambulance. Baby Kisses said, I got jitters, sick to my stomach, felt kind of paranoid for 2 days from a stupid ass gummy from Michigan. I'm telling you, 911. There is way more to this story. And if everyone's doing the same thing, why did one freak out, get out of the car, and take off running and found dead in the retention pond? I promise it's going to come out.
When you're going to leave your cousin on the side of the road.
But law enforcement experts say that part of the story from his cousins about Gio's alleged erratic behavior isn't adding up.
Adding this part about he was acting strange and pulled a knife on us, and then he's the one texting help, I need help. That story's not going to stand up.
And he says one way or another, the truth will come out.
Their stories are now, they can't change their stories. Their stories are in cement. And the investigators are going to work around those stories and compare it to the evidence. Basic investigations 101.
Yeah, and again, we do have that timetable set in stone. His parents seeing him leave with his cousins, but what happened in that 20 minutes after is going to be crucial to that investigation, Steve.
First at 5 when Giovanni.
Crazy. So, family vacation. You leave from North Carolina. You drive down to Florida. Fine. How about it? Giovanni wants to meet up with cousins who are related to his father, who is a serial criminal. I mean, anything you can think of. He talks to Giovanni, says, no, I wouldn't go with him. Probably because Daddy Dearest figured something out, that maybe he's done some things wrong in his life. He says, help Mom. Mom doesn't answer. Not because she didn't care. She was asleep. He texts 2 more people. I would like to know, was this from the side of the road or where? Because a truck driver found his backpack and his phone. One person in the car, and we know one was driving, one was riding shotgun, and we have a few in the back. We hear the stepfather saying, we were a little not really sure if he should go with them. Well, then be awake. Be awake. I know some people say 18 is an adult. Well, yeah, sure it is, but not when you're paying for the condo and the car and the food. It doesn't work that way. Roofs cost money. Water costs money. Air conditioning costs money. Heat costs money. Trash collection costs money. So at 18, him saying, oh yeah, they're going to be here at 6, then 7. Well, go out for a little bit. But this 3-hour trip across Florida, I'm not understanding. I'm just not getting it. At all. Help mom, phone calls, and text messages. The cousins, they will figure out exactly where this came from. They will figure it out with a quickness, because the only thing that is going to solve this case is the comings and goings of the cousins and the toxicology. Let's get to the press conference. Whew. Kimberly Mann said, in my opinion, the cousins and friends got their story straight too, and what they said is ridiculous. Waiting on the toxicology. Cell phone pings back it up. The camera footage backs it up. Medical examiner says undetermined. So we have to wait on the toxicology. These cousins, I am not taking up for at all. At all. No one in this group is going to get an Eagle Scout badge. Nope, not one. Not one. They did not do the right thing. All they had to do, instead of getting to their next party, whatever they had going on, is dial 911. Hey, we just met our cousin. He started freaking out. And he took off running, which we've seen. We've seen. I saw it. Let's get to it, actually. After we think Sophia Petrillo. Thank you, girlfriend.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to get an update on the Giovanni Pelletier case death investigation. But before I get started, I do want to say that our prayers continue to go out to Bridget, the mother of Giovanni, and the entire family as they struggle during this very difficult time. And
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Do you think Giovanni, knowing the mom's history, got the lace pot from her. We're not going off of looks. She's a very pretty woman. Do you think maybe he got it from her? Since he left at 1:30 a.m. and right after, 20 minutes later, she gets a text saying, "Mom, help." That's a very fast reaction. I don't know. Just trying to be fair. Just Me said, if he knew he had a bad reaction before, I don't think so. I've never heard that he's had a bad reaction before. So I don't know. I mean, they're digging deep. And that toxicology is going to tell them everything.
We pray that blessings are bestowed upon them, and we're here to hopefully give them some information that will give them closure at some point. Before I get to where we're at in the investigation currently, I think it's important to go back and start from the beginning. So on Thursday, July 31st, there's communications between Giovanni and his cousin, Latrell Hearn, about Latrell picking up Giovanni, who's in Charlotte County, and taking him back to Brevard County, where Latrell lives. They're trying to figure out the details. At 5:41 p.m., Latrell texts that he's going to have to use his grandmother's car, which is a white Malibu. At 8:30, they're still texting each other. They text about smoking weed. Giovanni says, I haven't had a smoke in a while because of court stuff going on in North Carolina.
Only the toxicology will tell. Either he got it from his mom or stepdad. Hey, that's fine. I have a hard time believing mom and stepdad would have something around that could kill someone. But hey, whatever. So 5:41 p.m. They're going back and forth talking about weed and stuff like that. Have at it. Giovanni says he's got court stuff going on. And he hasn't had any in a long time. I understand that legally he's an adult. Would you trust someone who's not an adult that has court stuff going on to go meet perfect strangers? I'm asking you, not me. Because I know what I would do. I'd be like, no. Your dad who's in jail already said, pay them and never mind. You're in trouble with the court right now. So we're not doing that. We're going to see Mickey Mouse. We're going to see Goofy. We're going to see Pluto, Minnie Mouse, the whole 9 yards. Again, the cousins will get no Boy Scout badge for leaving him on the side of the road. The question is going to be, what was in it and where did it come from? And yes, they will find that out.
And he goes on to say, I definitely need a smoke. At 10:08 p.m., Latrell, Jalen Washington, and Zachary Cummings start heading toward Charlotte County. Zach Cummings is the driver of the white Malibu at the time. During interviews, Luttrell tells detectives that not long into the drive, they start smoking weed in the car, and Giovanni starts tripping. They stop the car at an unknown location along River Road.
Who had what? Did Luttrell give it to Giovanni, or did Giovanni already have it? That's the question right now.
He says, I haven't had a smoke in a while because of court stuff going on in North Carolina. And he goes on to say, I definitely need a smoke. At 10:08 p.m., Luttrell, Jalen Washington, and Zachary Cummings start heading toward Charlotte County. Zach Cummings is the driver of the white Malibu at the time. During interviews, Luttrell tells detectives that not long into the drive, they start smoking weed in the car, and Giovanni starts tripping. They stop the car at an unknown location along River Road before they got to I-75 because Giovanni needed to use the bathroom. Luttrell says that Giovanni is acting out and raging before getting back into the car. They continue driving north on I-75, and at this point, they're about 26 miles away south of State Road 70. At 1:55 a.m., Giovanni sends his mother a text saying help. At 1:56 a.m., he sends another message that says help, followed by me. Jalen says Giovanni was tripping, telling them I am a demon and I will wreck this car, and says he will kill them all as he tries to open up the door while the car is still moving. This happens.
Okay. Again, no Boy Scouts here. No one trying to do the right thing. I would have pulled over and said, then run your ass away and call 911. Okay? Again, I sound like a broken record. The toxicology is going to say what was in his system. It had to have been laced. It just had to have been. They're not explaining where it came from.
While they're in Manatee County, close to State Road 70. Zachary, the driver, pulls the car over onto the side of the road on the shoulder, the northbound I-75 on the east shoulder of State Road 70. Jalen and Zach are in the front seats, and they hear that Giovanni has a knife. And we know that he always carried a knife. He had two knives. He had a folding pocket knife, and he had a blade, but this knife was still in the sheath, never took it out. They said that Giovanni gets out of the car and begins running southbound in the southbound lanes of I-75. They see him in the middle of the northbound lanes and almost get hit by a truck. This is the last time they see him. He left behind his backpack and cell phone, so they took that and placed it onto the side of State Road or I-75 at State Road 70 at the entrance ramp on the east side.
Which is where it was found by a truck driver. Probably pulled over, stretch his leg, take a pee. That is where it's found. I'm going with truth, not what I think happened. Because what I think happened is not adding up to the police reports at all.
At 2:26 a.m., Latrell calls his grandfather to let the grandfather know that Giovanni got out of the car. At 2:27, Latrell calls Bridget, Giovanni's mother, but there's no answer. We know that they continue northbound on I-75. We have them stopping at the Flying J truck stop in Hillsborough County off the I-4, and you can tell by their phones that they eventually make it home to Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m.
Okay, this timeline is extremely important. All the text messages, when he was dropped off, their phone, when they got back to Brevard County, them throwing their stuff out, his stuff out, it's one thing or another. Did he freak them out or did they freak him out? Did they give him something laced or did he bring something laced? To me, none of this makes sense. But I'm a tad bit older than 18. If someone tells me to pick them up at 1:30 in the morning, I'd be like, yeah, no. I got to get my sleep and I will see you tomorrow morning. I'll pick you up then. The timing, all of the times that are said that are from cell phones are crazy. The question is, what was it laced with and who gave it to him? Who gave it to him? Did he bring it? Why was he already in trouble with the courts for, well, like he said, I haven't smoked in a long time. He said because of the courts. His mom spoke about that. I'm not comparing my life to an 18-year-old's life. I'm not comparing my life to his mother who has a child in drug court before the age of 18. I'm not comparing that. And if I'm going to meet some, again, I cannot compare myself to an 18-year-old because you know they've been texting and texting and texting and texting and texting. Oh, we're going to smoke. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's kids talking. If I meet some long lost cousin, it's going to be at lunch around 12:30 p.m. because I'm not 18. Let's look at these times again.
So they took that and placed it onto the side of State Road or I-75 at State Road 70 at the entrance ramp on the east side. At 2:26 a.m., Latrell calls his grandfather to let the grandfather know that Giovanni got out of the car. At 2:27, Latrell calls Bridget, Giovanni's mother, but there's no answer. We know that they continue northbound on I-75. We have them stopping at the Flying J truck stop in Hillsborough County off the I-4, and you can tell by their phones that they eventually make it home to Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m., Latrell calls Bridget again. She answers, and he gives her the information on what.
My question is, why did Bridget lie? This is part of the police report. Latrell finally got a hold of her He had called her several times. We're listening to the sheriff reading the digitals that came out. Okay? So why did she say she had to call the police? Why did she say that she was tracking people down? That is not in the police record. Frank Opinion said cousins were smoking and he joined in. It's a connection. Absolutely. Question is, why did one person freak out and the others are okay and actually went back home? No Boy Scout in here. And I'm not blaming Bridget. I'm not. She wasn't there at all. But I'm sensing a pick me type of situation with her. Oh, I'm going to show your dad. He's the one that said not to talk to your cousins. Hey, you all have fun with this. He's already in trouble with the courts for the same thing. Something is going on. And I'm telling you, these forensic digitals are not going to lie.
Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m., Luttrell calls Bridget again. She answers, and he gives her the information on what transpired that night. At 7:13, Bridget calls the Manatee County Sheriff's Office to look for Giovanni on I-75. She says, from the 911 call that we collected, I received some missed calls from my son this morning. He was being picked up by a relative, and I was told that they left him on the side of the highway. That there was some type of an altercation and a knife was involved. She asked if a deputy could do a wellness check and make sure that he's okay.
Okay, they're reading her statement. Her statement. She said she had several missed calls from Giovanni. She said, I was under the understanding that a relative was going to pick him up. So instead of when Luttrell called her and told her what happened, she said, can we just do a well check? This does not make sense to me. If someone called me, and I miss calls all the time, and they gave me the story, I wouldn't say, hey, can you do a well check on I-75? No, listen again. And by the way, if you want to see the police record for yourself, signed, it's part of Florida Public Records.
We have them stopping at the Flying J truck stop in Hillsborough County off the I-4, and you can tell by their phones that they eventually make it home to Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m., Luttrell calls Bridget again. She answers, and he gives her the information on what transpired that night. At 7:13, Bridget calls the Manatee County Sheriff's Office to look for Giovanni on I-75. She says, from the 911 call that we collected, I received some missed calls from my son this morning. He was being picked up by a relative, and I was told that they left him on the side of the highway. That there was some type of an altercation and a knife was involved. She asked if a deputy could do a wellness check and make sure that he's okay.
I don't get that. I heard there was an altercation. He's on the side of highway I-75. Can we do a wellness check? I thought she was supposed to go pick him up the next morning. There's something here I'm not getting. Does anybody want to grab the link and come up? Because I'm super confused by her story. I really am. And don't think all of the cousins have not been drug tested. Don't think for a minute they have not had vials of blood and piss, spit, whatever you can do. And I guarantee there will be something in it. He had something else. In my opinion, that's the reason they're being mum's the word on the toxicology.
Dispatcher responds, you mentioned a possible altercation, but can you tell me again exactly what happened? She states, so I'm getting this from people who were there. He said they were in the car, and I guess they had given my son some weed, and my son doesn't normally do any drugs. I guess they had given him some.
Okay, it's crazy. She says, I guess they gave him some weed. How would she know? Because Luttrell certainly didn't tell her that. And she had more phone calls than just from Giovanni. Many people were trying to get a hold of her because young people think different than us. They'll think, oh, I'll just get a hold of his mom because I don't want to get in trouble too. And, oh, he's a big boy, that type of stuff. We're not talking about someone who is 35, 38, 42, 52. They don't. But I have a real issue as to why she called 911 for a well check visit. And you're telling me Luttrell said, Luttrell told her that he smoked weed and jumped out the car? I don't know, but something is not making sense. She's like, I guess someone had given him some weed. Well, you talked to Luttrell. Excuse me, Luttrell. Did Luttrell tell you that or someone?
The dispatcher responds, you mentioned a possible altercation, but can you tell me again exactly what happened? She states, so I'm getting this from people who were there. He said they were in the car, and I guess they had given my son some weed, and my son doesn't normally do any drugs. I guess they had given him some weed, and then he started to freak out and said he wanted to get out of the car. And they were like, hey, just calm down, thinking maybe it was the drugs he was taking. They kept saying, calm down and everything will be okay. And then I guess he got out of the car to go to the bathroom, and that's when I received the text saying, Mom, help, in that time frame, she said. And then he said that he continued to freak out and didn't know what was going on. They left him behind on I-75. Bridget is heading northbound on I-75 to try to locate her son. A deputy responds to that area, but finds no pedestrian on the interstate. At 7:21, a truck driver who was checking the load on his truck, it's a sod truck, pulls off in that same area on the east side of I-75, northbound, sees the backpack, picks it up. He travels to Tampa with the backpack. Bridget sees that the phone is moving, but does not know that it's a truck driver that actually has the bag and has the phone. She eventually calls Tampa PD. and an officer responds to the area where the truck driver was doing some work, recovers the cell phone and the bag. This is about 9:21 when.
Okay, for people that are upset about the truck driver that saw the backpack and the cell phone, truck drivers just can't pull in anywhere. Okay, they just can't. So he got to the next town, which on his route, some people say route, would be Tampa. There's a truck stop there, and he can say, call this in. I found this on I-75. You know why? Because there's so many hookers and homeless people. No way the truck driver thought it was a dead person's backpack or cell phone. Now, and to be quite honest, probably didn't care.
TPD recovers the phone in the bag. At 9:28, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office opened a missing person case. And we also learned that Charlotte County reached out to Brevard County Sheriff's Office. And they were instrumental in interviewing all the passengers in the vehicle and as this investigation unfolded. They voluntarily give Brevard County the vehicle, the white Malibu that they were in. Brevard County processes the vehicle and finds no foul play, no blood, nothing, no evidence whatsoever inside that vehicle. Charlotte County reaches out to us once again to check to see if Giovanni had been admitted to any hospitals or possibly was arrested. And there was no sign of Giovanni in our system. On Monday, August 4th, Charlotte County requests the assistance of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office as they search the area that the trail says they dropped off Giovanni on I-75. They do an extensive search east of the interstate in wooded areas on both sides of State Road 70 and find nothing. On Tuesday, August 5th, Charlotte County comes back to Manatee County along with a volunteer team that have good cadaver dogs. Also, the Charlotte County Aviation Unit was flying overhead. We had 3 of our detectives assisting them with searching the areas that they wanted to search that day. After about 4.5 hours, they told our detectives that they're not really sure that Giovanni is in this area. Now, why is that important? We know that he got out of the car on River Road before he got onto I-75. So as investigators, they're starting to think maybe he never made it to State Road 70. Now, I can't speak for the Charlotte County detectives. I can't speak for Sheriff Promell, but they know the backpack was there, but there's no sighting of Giovanni in that area at this.
No, they're not seeing foul play yet. They're waiting on the toxicology. They're waiting on the toxicology, and what's going to be super important is where it came from and why the mom has lied. I know a lot of people really stand up for his mom. She seems like a nice enough person. There she is. There she is. There's Bridget. She has had a lot of inconsistencies in her social media posts. And it's being explained here. I promise you, dollar to donut, they have all the text messages, every one of them. Every one of them. Giovanni saying because of court stuff, I haven't smoked in a long time. And I wonder, is it his court stuff or his mother's? I don't know. The cousins, he has never met. That have been pinged all across Florida. I will say, have a totally different story to tell. It is going to come down to the toxicology and why the mom made these stories up. I mean, I saw her. I saw her. I read everything she said. When she said, oh, if I had just taken that phone call or just seen that text. And I was like, I felt horrible for her. And I still do. I feel horrible for her. But when you called 911 and say his cousin left him on the road, can you do a well check visit? I don't understand that. When you planned to be up to pick him up. If you were already planning to go pick him up the next day, then why weren't you planning to go pick him up the next day? And Latrell tells you, then you call 911 and talk about pot? Something's not rubbing my right nerve.
Time. So Charlotte County is still searching, and they're searching hard in the area of River Road and I-75. But we know that that's not where it was at. On Friday, August 8th, at about 3:15 p.m., Manatee County Sheriff's Office receives a call about a body located in a pond right off of I-75 at the exit ramp to State Road 70. We learned that a friend of the family had been searching the area and had located the body. I sent my entire homicide team out there along with their sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and major to process this scene. The medical examiner investigator also responds to help with the processing of the body. We do a deep x-ray, a scan of the body. The ME does that night. There's no signs of any trauma to the body. There's no indication that he was shot. There's no indication that he was stabbed. There's nothing at that time that helps us determine cause of death. On Saturday, August 9th, detectives and crime scene techs go back out to the scene. They conduct another thorough investigation of the area, search of the area. Our drone unit also flew over the pond and the surrounding area, but didn't find anything of any value. On Sunday, the District 12 medical examiner performed an autopsy of the body. Preliminary indication was no signs of trauma or foul play, but the cause of death is still undetermined. On August 11th, my dive team goes back out to the pond to search it once again to make sure that we did not miss anything in the initial searches. They find nothing. We're trying to pinpoint exactly where Giovanni got out of the car. That's our main focus. My detectives.
Okay, so we have more than one liar. We are trying to pinpoint where Giovanni got out of the car and how he got in the retention pond, the whole 9 yards. Now, I don't care about what his mother put on social media, okay? Everyone puts their best face on social media, so get that out of your head. I should have never brought it up. She may not have wanted to say, I was told by Luttrell. That might be what she was doing and advocating for her son. The truth is, they're going to have to find the toxicology, which they put in for almost 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, it could be Thanksgiving before we find out. And no one is going to throw down a ticket on someone that left their cousin on the side of the road who they say was acting erratic. It's going to come down to the toxicology.
Reach out to Brevard County, who help us reach out to Giovanni's cousin, Jalen, Luttrell, and Zach, and we request that they interview again with us. They do so freely. We respond to Brevard County, and we interview the three. They give us the exact same story that they gave Brevard County. They also agreed to come back to Manatee County to help us pinpoint exactly where they pulled off the side of the road and where Giovanni got out of the car.
We have 2 counties believing the cousins. Okay? 2 counties believing the cousins. Again, it's not a crime to leave someone on the side of the road who, in your opinion, might be acting a fool. I'm just saying. Again, we have 2 counties that can back up the cousin story. Is it morally right? No. Is it criminal? We don't know yet, because we don't know what he smoked or where it came from.
So that brings us to today. We started reviewing all of the FDOT cameras in the area. This is complicated at times because these cameras, they will move at certain parts of the day. They're not always focused on one particular area. So we started to do our best to locate any movement whatsoever that would give us an indication that Giovanni was alive at that time. And we found Giovanni at about 2:18 a.m. on the night in question on I-75. And we want to show that video now. It's difficult to see at first, so bear with us. Yep. This is the 44th Avenue camera, located about 1.2 miles north of State Road 70. Right here, it's hard to tell, but you can see some movement over here on these are the southbound lanes. He's coming across right here. You see a truck having to get out of the way. He'll clear up a little bit here in a second. He has on a white shirt. You can see him coming across. Here's the truck trying to avoid hitting him. You can point him out right here. He's coming eastbound now. He's walking back westbound. And there's a concrete barrier right here. And down here is where the pond is. So then we continue to check cameras, and we get lucky at a Lowe's, which is located on the west side of State Road 70. We have a camera that's pointing at the embankment now that he comes down at 2:19 a.m. Play that, Ben. I want you to stay focused right here. Now that's a steep embankment. It's coming down there almost an uncontrollable sprint. If you ever gone down a hill, you know what I'm talking about. But the pond is right here at the edge of that embankment. I mean, the important thing that I want you to see, there's no one chasing him. There's no one around him. In fact, when he's coming down that embankment,
toxicology. Toxicology. Everyone else is alive except for Giovanni. Where did he get the weed? What was it laced with? That's all they need to find out. That's it. There was many phone calls to his mother, which sets off my red flags. They are coming out of my brain like crazy. All of these people are calling her. Her words, not mine. It seems to me he was hectic, he was manic, he was high, whatever you want to call it. And he fell down into there. There's no one around him. So there won't be a murder investigation. But why did the cousins not call 911? I know they made multiple phone calls to his mother. As she said, she spoke to Latrell. Everything. And she asked for a well check on I-75. No, you would want a well check at their house. You don't know these people. It's the first time Giovanni ever met them. I would say something's wrong. And I should be on the road right now picking up my son. And the text messages between Giovanni and his cousins he's never met say what they say. Because of court reasons, I don't smoke anymore, but I want to. Who brought it?
the vehicle is 2 miles away. So there's no one in this area with Giovanni. There's no one that's chasing him. He's by himself. And what we don't know is what happened when he hit that pond. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. The death is undetermined. So we know that we don't have anyone that comes down that embankment after him. They don't look for him. He's there, we believe, until he was located by the family friend on Friday, the 8th. We really don't know what happened once he got into the pond. And once again, anything that I say would be pure speculation. We're still waiting for the ME to determine the cause of death, and we're also still waiting for the toxicology. So we don't have all the answers. We know this is the last sighting of him that night. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to ask?
Have the family reviewed this footage and the timeline and everything?
I think Bridget just is here now. I think that I don't know if she's reviewed the video. I know the detectives were on their way, but she's here.
Okay, so they have CCTV from different cameras, lows, and so forth, that see no one behind him. The ME did not confirm his death to be drowning. So what the hell is going on? He wasn't shot. He wasn't stabbed. I mean, he didn't even have a broken toe. It's going to come down to toxicology, and then the medical examiner is going to see what happened to him.
He's here now.
Sheriff Wells, could you remind me again, were all three individuals in the car, are they all cousins of Giovanni?
No, I know Latrell is a cousin, and I think that Zach is definitely not, and I think that Jalen's just a good friend.
Okay, so Zach and Jalen are good friends.
Yeah.
Was the driver of the car, was he under the influence?
Not that we know of.
Okay.
We have no indication.
Okay. Sheriff, can you talk about, we know that Charlotte County was the lead investigative agency in this. How hard is that when Manatee County was just a stop and you don't know at that point so early on what was actually?
Yeah, I mean, our detectives were working with them, and Charlotte County was keeping us up to date. And, you know, we searched with them on that, on the 4th and the 5th. A lot of time was spent on the east side. And even though the helicopter was flying the entire area, you know, they were really focused on that east side. And it's heavily wooded, it's wet, and they believe that that's where he would have gone. And we have no reason to dispute that. And I think that, you know, they did exactly what we would do. They're searching. They know that River Road is also because when they're searching in Manatee, they're also searching River Road. They're parallel. Everybody's searching in both areas because those are the two areas of concern.
Sheriff, you mentioned that there were possibly drugs involved. Were those folks who were found in the custody or anything else?
When the vehicle was processed by Brevard, there was still some marijuana residue in there. I don't know if they analyzed that or not.
Sheriff, so at this point, is anyone charged with anything?
Stupid. We found some marijuana residue in the car in Brevard County. We don't know if it's been analyzed yet or not. Yeah, I get it. Just say they're still trying to figure out what the hell was in there and where it came from. This is crazy.
No.
Could anyone be charged given that drugs were involved?
We don't have any way of proving who smoked what. We don't know who was smoking in their car. So I would say no. I mean, really the focus right now is to see what comes back from toxicology. Is there going to be something that alerts us to another drug that we don't know about?
And there it is, my friends. There it is. I promise every one of the people in that car, piss, blood, whatever. And as he said, we found some marijuana residue, waiting on toxicology and to find out what's in it. Okay? Because if there was something way off the charts illicit, I can tell you the driver and the other passengers would have tested hot for it. Which at this juncture means nothing. But they know. They know. Listen to what he said again.
Could anyone be charged given that drugs were involved?
We don't have any way of proving who smoked what. We don't know who was smoking in their car. So I would say no. I mean, really the focus right now is to see what comes back from toxicology. Is there going to be something that alerts us to another drug?
Right there on your screen, friends. We're waiting on toxicology because something that alerts us to another drug. Exactly what he said. If that other drug was in Latrell's bloodstream, Latrell's hair, Latrell's piss, Jalen, anyone else in the car, we would not be here. They would have had them locked up faster than OJ eats snacks. That's what they're going to find, something else in there
that we don't know about. Any more questions? Yes.
I know you said you didn't want to speculate, but is the thinking maybe it was some kind of different weed, synthetic marijuana, he had a better reaction, became paranoid, and then accidentally, stumbled down the hill and drowned?
Well, I don't want to speculate because I don't think that's fair to the family. I don't know what happened. So I want to wait for the toxicology report to come back to see if there was something in there that's alarming that points to something more that we need to investigate.
Can you talk about, too, I know we as reporters know, but can you tell the public just how long this toxicology report is?
I mean, sometimes they can take up to 2 months or longer. I mean, we are asking them to rush it, and we would like to get them back sooner than later. I just don't know how long that's going to take.
I know there was some concern that people have been for so long that the toxicology report might not be complete, and it might not be able to get a full picture. Is that still thinking, or?
I know that they were able to get a sample. I don't know how good that sample is going to be, but they did get a sample and they sent that off to be analyzed. Anything else?
One more.
Yep.
Is it possible he got clipped by the vehicle and maybe it doesn't show that, but he was hurt and then went down the hill?
We can only go by the medical examiner's report that it doesn't indicate that there were any injuries to the body. I mean, we know he was very close to being hit, a couple of times, but we didn't see any trauma to the body, and I don't think the ME did as well.
no trauma to his body. Everyone else is alive and well. I promise everyone else has been drug tested. Weed stays in your system for a long time. I know nothing about fentanyl, how long it stays in your system. I know nothing about heroin, cocaine, any of that. Weed stays in your system for a long time. I know that because, my husband is a CDL driver and it's all over their paperwork. It will stay in your system for 30 days. 30 days, because they take hair, They take everything. They don't want no one nodding off. It's crazy. What is alcohol, like 10 hours? Heroin, I don't know. So I promise all of the dirtbag cousins pissed hot. I promise they did. I guarantee their blood was hot. If someone is drug testing you, they are not going to take bone marrow. They are not going to take muscle or tissue. They only do that for toxicology. This story is crazy. Baby Kisses said no. I'm talking about a simple drug test, like, to go to work. No one's going to go through your stomach and get anything out of your liver. Remember, Giovanni has passed away, and toxicology is totally different than a simple drug screening. Okay? You can, it's stored in different areas. The question is, where did Giovanni get it? If they're all passing this around, why did one freak out and the other three were fine? Well, I can tell you why. For one, they had never met Giovanni and could give a shit about him. That's the truth. Never met him. They've just been talking back and forth on the phone. They've been talking back and forth on the Facebook Messenger, that type of stuff. Something happened in that car, and they dropped him off. And he, as we saw in the video, he took off running. It is insane. The question is, where did it come from? Because everything I'm seeing right now or listening to with the information from 2 different counties is that at this point, the cousins did nothing wrong. Except for be assholes and drop off the cousin they just met. But I have questions for the mom. I really do. There is one story, and that story is the truth. Why did her story change? Because I'm listening to the sheriff, and everything he has that is documented doesn't match her story. Hey, maybe she was embarrassed. I really don't know who cares about social media more than their own physical life. 'Tis what it is. All right, I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Please leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this if you're watching on the replay. Nothing here is adding up to me. You guys are the best. I'll see you tomorrow.